Keshi demon. So Keshi asked Kamsa that you are sending me to kill Krishna. How could I identify who is Krishna? Then Kamsa gave a description of Krishna. He is like that. He dresses like that, having a flute, having the peacock feather, that yellow garments. All explanation, descriptions were given to Keshi. And Keshi came into Vrindavan, and that day Balaram was moving around, dressed like Krishna. So Keshi identified, this is Krishna, but that was not Krishna, that was Balaram. And Keshi immediately kicked him to kill him. And Balaram got the kick and ran away and came to Krishna. He said that your dress is very dangerous. As soon as I dressed, I got a kick, heavy kick. So please take your garments and dresses. I am not going to make that mistake again. So lesson to be learned from this pastime is, we are also doing the same thing. We are servants of Krishna, but we are trying to be Krishna. That's why we are suffering. We always ask why we are suffering in this world. The cause of suffering is that we have given up the service of Krishna. Krishna boir mukh hoiya Bhagavan chakare, nikotastha maya tare, jhapotiya dhare, Krishna pulise jeevan adi bohir mukh, atev maya tare daye, samsara dukh. So we are all suffering in this world. Why? Krishna Bhuli. Forgetfulness of Krishna is the cause of misery. So in this world, we all have to suffer. Why? Because we are disconnected from Krishna. We are forgetful of Krishna. So Balaram, through this pastime, is teaching us, don't try to be Krishna. If you want to be Krishna, if you try to be Krishna, then what will happen? What will get? Kicks. And we are getting kicks. For how long? For how long? Since time immemorial. We are thinking, no, that was okay, that kick. So this time I will not get kicks. Life after life, we are trying to be happy in this world. But we cannot be happy in this world. Because this world is the world of getting kicks from material energy. Adi bhautika, adi daivika, adi atmika kleshas. And that is the nature of this world. We will always go through this sufferings. And what is the root cause? We have given up the service of Krishna. So on this auspicious day, we should be reminded, we should contemplate that our life is a life of service. Our life is not meant for enjoyment, separately from Krishna. Enjoying is the integral part of our life. We all want to enjoy. There is nothing wrong to enjoy. But if we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, that is the problem. That's why Krishna performs his pastime. Krishna's pastimes are very beautiful, wonderful, blissful. And he is inviting us to join that pastime. So Krishna's activities are known as Leela. But our activities are not known as Leela, right? We do so many activities. Even Krishna was arrested, that becomes a pastime. Krishna steals butter, that also becomes pastime. Whatever he does, it becomes pastimes. But we are also performing so many activities, but we are not given that title, that our activities are Leelas. Why? When Krishna performs his activities, he does not expect anything from those activities. That's why his activities are Leela. But when we perform our activities, we expect. Expectations are there. Material expectations. That's why our activities are known as karma. So, what motivates Krishna to do activities? Without motivation, we cannot act. So, what is the motivation behind Krishna's activities? Krishna only has one motivation. That is to please his devotees. That is his only motivation. And that's why Krishna's activities are so sweet, wonderful. And these activities are Leelas, eternal activities, transcendental. Janma karma chame divyam evam ja vyakti tattata takta deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjana. Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam. Krishna's activities, Krishna's birth are all divya. Divya means transcendental. Transcendental means beyond three modes. Our activities are governed by three modes. That's why we are bound by karma. And you cannot manage it. Sometimes we think we will manage karma. We cannot manage karma. Karma is very, very powerful. So what is the motivation for us to work in this world? Depending on our modes. If we are in the mode of ignorance, then our motivation is fear. We act based on fear. Students don't like to study. They don't like to go to the schools. But they go. Why? Fear. If they don't go to the school, parents will have some loving exchange with them. Then if they don't go to the school, then they may fail in the exam. So all these fears are there. That's why they act. Even people do dharma out of fear. Once one devotee went to his friend who is an atheist. And he saw in his house there is a small temple. And he does arati also. Then this devotee was very shocked. He said, you always tell me that you are an atheist. How come you have altar, temple in your house, you do arati also? Then you always lied to me that you are an atheist. He said, no. How can I tell lies to you? I am an atheist, but I have a fear. In case God is there. So why not do some arati? He'll be happy in case he is there. So out of fear. That is the symptom of mode of ignorance. Then passion. In the mode of passion, what is the motivation? What I will get. Material profit. And most of the people are in this world fall in this category. Even the devotees. Most of the devotees in this world are Sakam Bhakta. Sakam means I perform devotional service, but in exchange I want something. Sakam. But Chaitanya Charitamrita explains what is the symptom of a devotee of Krishna? Krishna Bhakta Niskam Atev Santa Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakulei Asanta. The symptom, primary symptom of a devotee of Krishna is Niskam. Niskam means no material motivation, no material desires. Anna vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyana krishna nusilanam bhaktir uttama. So Mahaprabhu wanted to give us uttama bhakti. Mahaprabhu wanted to give us niskam bhakti. And what is the symptom? Anna vilasita sunyam. We have to be free from desires, material desires. And primarily two desires and three desires also. Third desire is also there. Primarily. So most of the people, they want to enjoy this world. This is known as bhukti, sense enjoyment. And when they are frustrated in bhukti, they want mukti, liberation. And also there is another category, it's called siddhi. 8 mystic siddhis. And they are asanta. So we want to be peaceful, but we cannot be peaceful if we have material desires. So the karmis, those who are in the field of furtive activities, those who are in the speculative knowledge, jnanis, those who are behind mystic siddhis, yogis, sakam bhaktas, they cannot be peaceful. Why? They have desires, either gross or subtle. That's why you have to be free from those desires. Then we can become qualified to be part of Krishna's pastimes. So, coming to the point of Rajaguna, then we have to come to the platform of Sattva-guna. Sattva-guna, what is the motivation? Duty, sense of duty. Arjuna refused to fight. And what was the reasoning of not fighting? He analyzed. What was the analysis? He thought, if I become victorious, there will be nobody to celebrate my victory. And if I lose, I'll be killed. So he was analyzing based on Rajoguna. Then Krishna told him, Arjuna, you should fight. Why you should fight? Because you are a Kshatriya. Your duty is to fight. So Bhagavad Gita starts. When it starts in our life, when we come to the platform of Sattva-guna, Niskam Karma Yoga. We have to perform our duties, but don't expect the results from our duties. That is called Sattva-guna. But in order to be part of Krishna's pastime, Sattva-guna is not sufficient. We have to come to the Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. And what is the pure goodness? What is the motivation? Love. Pleasing Krishna. That is the motivation. Arjuna fought the battle of Kurukshetra not out of duty. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, he fought the battle to please Krishna. So when we perform our activities to please Krishna, then we become qualified to be part of Krishna's pastimes. So we try to analyze that why Krishna's activities are lila? Because there is no material expectations. Why he performs his activities? For pleasing the devotees. And why devotees perform their activities? For the pleasure of the Lord. When these two are combined, then that becomes transcendental event. So in order to be part of the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, we have to give up our material aspirations, material expectations. And these are the days we should contemplate on this principle. Vrindavan. We all want to go to Vrindavan, right? How many of you desire to enter into Goloka Vrindavan? Desire. Okay. Very good desire. So Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu also taught us our goal should be Vrindavan. Aradha Bhagavan Brajashatanaya Stadhama Vrindavanam Brahma Kachidupasana Brajabudu Vargana Jakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartha Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Adarana Paraha. The teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are topmost and very sublime. Our Lord is Krishna, but Krishna in Vrindavan. Our worshipable abode is Vrindavan Dham. So there are 5 varieties of Vrindavan. 5 kinds of Vrindavan. So first variety is Goloka Vrindavan, which is the topmost planet in the spiritual world. That is Goloka Vrindavan. So when Krishna comes down to this material world, and he did that 5,000 years ago, he appeared in Bharat and manifested that Vrindavan Dham. That is called Bhoma Vrindavan. And when Krishna appeared, he performed his pastime in Vrindavan. Then he performed his pastime in Mathura and Dwarka. and he completed his pastime, and duration was 125 years, and he withdrew his pastime. He disappeared. So that is called aprakat. Aprakat Leela, unmanifested pastime. And he was manifest for 125 years, 5,000 years ago. But when he disappeared, then he kept the Vrindavan also. So when he comes down, he brings that Vrindavan, that is known as Bhauma Vrindavan. That is the second category. But after he leaves, he left that Vrindavan also, which we can see now. That is the third category of Vrindavan. Then what is the fourth category of Vrindavan? Wherever pure devotee resides, that place becomes Vrindavan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, Jedino grihe bhajana dekhi grihete goloko bhai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, whenever I see in my house that devotional service is going on to Krishna, I don't see my home as my home. I see that home is Vrindavan. Rup Sanatan stayed in Ramkeli village. Ramkeli village became Vrindavan. Both of them manifested Vrindavan there. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to stay in Mayapur, he manifested Vrindavan there. Prabhupada traveled all over the globe. Wherever he went, he established Vrindavan. Prabhupada said, ISKCON temples are like Vaikuntha, Vrindavan. That is the fourth category. Then fifth category, Mahaprabhu expressed that category. While he was dancing in front of Jagannath, in Jagannath Puri during Ratha Jatra, Mahaprabhu was singing so many wonderful songs, chanting wonderful mantras and slokas. And in one of those, he expressed, Onnera Hriday Mon, More Mon Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu told that